Hello friends, my name is Emily and this is a virtual gallery visit brought to you by the Missouri Historical Society as part of our February 2021 Virtual Learning and Homeschool Day. This month we are highlighting African American art and culture, and in this video we will consider Katherine Dunham. She was a groundbreaking person. Katherine Dunham was an anthropologist, a dancer, a choreographer, and an activist. Here in the gallery, we have some historical artifacts from her creative efforts. This is a poster advertising her performance from 1949, when she was performing internationally. She is known as the matriarch of Black dance. What is a matriarch? A matriarch is a woman who is powerful within a family or community. Katherine Dunham was born over a century ago. What was life like throughout the 20th century? The people of our country went through the First World War, the 1918 pandemic, the Great Depression, the Second World War, and, on top of that, African Americans were also navigating through the oppression of segregation and overt and covert white supremacy. Our country saw a revolutionary movement for personal and political advancement of African Americans, especially in the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s, and with the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Katherine Dunham spent her childhood in a small town outside of Chicago. She was introduced to the performing arts through her community, singing in church and going to local theater. She started studying modern dance. When she was a teenager, to help raise money for her church, she organized a cabaret party that she produced, directed, and danced in. Can you relate? How did you first experience performing arts like singing, dancing, theater, or musical theater? A great example of local musical theater is the Muny, the oldest and largest outdoor musical theater. The Muny is close to our museum in Forest Park, and the last 9 rows of seating in the Muny are free. In an era of social distancing, we can also stream virtual performances or watch musical movies and sing and dance along. Katherine Dunham understood that African American culture in America originated in Africa. She chose to study anthropology and dance of the African diaspora. What do we mean when we say diaspora? The word comes from ancient Greek, meaning to scatter about, which is what people of a diaspora do. They scatter from their homeland to land across the globe, spreading their culture as they go. The African diaspora is the voluntary and involuntary movement of African people and the descendants of these people to various parts of the world, like the United States. In the 1920s and 1930s, she went to the University of Chicago, was one of the first African American women to attend this university, and she obtained her bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. Throughout her education, she was also practicing dance and was one of the first African American students of ballet. In 1930, when she was only 21 years old, she founded the first Black dance company in the USA, the Negro Dance Group. Katherine Dunham and her dance company performed in Chicago, and she was recognized for her talent and awarded a grant to travel to study dance. In 1935, she went to the Caribbean to study aspects of and motivation behind dancing in the region, including Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Haiti. She was especially inspired by her experience in Haiti. She felt a strong sense of identification with the place and the people of Haiti. Do you know of artists today that are from and have artistic stylings influenced by the cultures of the Caribbean? I can think of a few. For example, Bob Marley was from Jamaica, A$AP Rocky is from Barbados, Nicki Minaj is from Trinidad and Tobago, Rihanna is from Barbados, and Jason Derulo is from Haiti. You may recognize his recent work, Savage Love, from TikTok. Katherine Dunham went on to create her own style of dance known as the Dunham Technique. This artistic expression is a fusion of everything she studied: classic ballet, modern dance, and African and Caribbean dance. This style of dance is set to drumming rhythms. You can watch an example of the Dunham Technique by following the link in the description. In 1944, she put on a performance in Louisville, Kentucky, and recognized that the establishment was segregated. She found a colored-only sign backstage, and, advocating for herself, African Americans, and equality, she pinned the sign to herself and said to an all-white audience, "It makes me very happy to know that you have liked us, but tonight our hearts are very sad, because this is a farewell to Louisville. I have discovered that your management will not allow people like you to sit next to people like us. I hope that time and unhappiness of this war for tolerance and democracy will change some of these things. Perhaps then we can return." Wow. Moments like that and activism like that are a really important part of the civil rights movement. Experiencing segregation like this was a common experience for African American artists. Performing for an audience, performing in an establishment, but being prohibited from being a part of the audience, or only being able to sit in a certain area of the audience, or being prohibited from patronizing the establishment. In the 1950s, Katherine Dunham went worldwide. She went on tour throughout South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. In the 1960s, Katherine was appointed an artist in residence and a professor at SIU Edwardsville. She established and was director of Southern Illinois' Performing Arts Training Center and the Dunham Dynamic Museum in East St. Louis. She partnered with SIUE's Experiment in Higher Education to add educational resources to the program and give the youth of East St. Louis access to an enriching experience. The center offers credit and non-credit courses in dance, of course, and other performing arts. Throughout her life, and in her legacy today, Katherine Dunham is a source of inspiration, in dance and beyond. Her creative influence is profound, hence her being known as the matriarch of Black dance. In addition to her work in performing arts, Katherine Dunham did groundbreaking work in the field of dance anthropology and founded a school. Katherine Dunham did what a lot of artists dream of. She crafted a new art form. She went out into the field as a young Black woman in the early 20th century, studying dance and performing and choreographing, and ultimately creating a new avenue of expression: African American dance.